Your cruise cabin is your home away from home when you're on your cruise vacation. These are the things you're going to want to know about that cabin before you get on board. Stay tuned. Hi everyone, Rob from Cruise Seekers, and thank you for watching our show today. Today we're going to be talking about your cruise cabin and everything you're going to want to know about your cruise cabin before you even get on the ship. But before we get into all this information, I want to thank each and every one of you who have become a member of this Cruise Seekers community. Thank you so much for doing it. We love you folks. We love having you here. We're getting really close to 14,000 subscribers. We would love to hit that before we go on our Alaska cruise. So if you're not a member just yet and you're watching this video and you love cruise tips, cruise deals, those type of things, think about subscribing. Turn that notification bell on. It will be so appreciated by us. Thank you so much for doing it. And while you're all down there, think about hitting that like button. It really does help that YouTube algorithm. It does help other people find this great video, and it helps other people become a member of this community. Thank you so much for doing that. All right, let's now talk about those cruise cabins. And we're going to start off with our very first tip. It's one of my favorite ones. So here we go. Alrighty, the very first tip, when you get on your ship, some cruise lines and some that don't even say they allow it might allow you to drop off your bag in your cabin. Do it if you can. If you have the opportunity to drop that bag off, get it out of your hands and put it in your room. Celebrity, I know, allows everybody to do that. Other cruise lines, they don't necessarily say you can do it, but you know what? If you can get access to your room, do it. They're not going to kill you for it. Just drop it off. You don't have to tote it around. There's a ton of bags on that ship during that first day. Don't be one of the other people that just are toting their bags around. If you can, get rid of it. Just drop and go, though. Don't nest in your room. Just drop and go. Get that bag out of your hands and then go explore the ship. So that's our very first tip. And the first thing you need to know about your cruise cabin, it's a good space to put your bags when you get on the ship. Now, when you finally get to go to your cabin, when they open up the cabins for everybody, the one thing you might notice when you go there, you're going to say to yourself, how is all my stuff going to fit in here? Well, these cabins are made in such a way that it's going to be surprising how much storage there is when you actually start putting things away. There's all sorts of places that you just wouldn't expect where you can put things. Hey, even that little vanity seat over by the mirror in the cabin might be able to take that cushion off, and there'll be a place to put other things into that seat. So there's all sorts of little nooks and crannies. Get familiar with your room, find those nooks and crannies. Also, those beds are a little higher. You can usually put your luggage right underneath those beds without a problem, and you don't have to take up valuable space in closets, etc. with those pieces of luggage. So there's tons and tons of spaces. Don't worry, you will be able to find a good place for everything, especially if you're only having 2 people in a cabin. It can get a little tight with 4, but with 2, you're going to have no problem whatsoever. Don't be kind of daunted when you get to the room and say, oh, this is small. I don't know if we're going to fit all our stuff in there. You will. Now, if you happen to be going on an older vessel, you will notice right away that there might not be any place where you can plug in a USB device straight into a USB outlet. A lot of these older ships don't have it. As a matter of fact, some of the newer ships might not have it. The really new ships, you're going to see some USB connectors. You're going to see USB-A connectors a lot around your beds, maybe over by the vanities, but you're not going to necessarily see USB-C. So if you have a USB-C charger, you're going to need to make sure you have something that will work for that. You might need like a block, or you might need a converter, or one of those type of things, because you're only going to see USB-A's all around in your cabin. There's not going to be a lot of these USB-A powered connectors, so you might want to think about investing in a powered USB hub to charge all your devices. This way you'll be covered 100% with a simple one plug solution. Now let's talk a little bit more about the whole situation with electricity in your rooms. There's going to usually not be a power outlet over by your bed, again, especially in the older ships. So if you're a CPAP user, you're probably going to need an extension cord. And a lot of times you can't bring your own extension cord for whatever reason. They just usually confiscate them. So make sure you have your travel agent, or you call the cruise line to let them know you're a CPAP user. You're going to need an extension cord, and you're going to need distilled water. Let them know if both of the people in the room need that as well. So they will accommodate for you to make sure your power can get to where your CPAP is over by the bed. Now, let's now talk about the whole power situation as a whole. in your room. There's not going to be a lot of power outlets, folks. There's just not. You might have a couple, maybe 3, if you're lucky, 4 power outlets in your whole room. So there's some ways you can kind of get around that if you need some additional power in your room for whatever reason. One, there is some power strips that you can buy that are cruise approved that does not have a fuse. I have a link in the description below. Take a look at that link. There's some things that my wife and I use there. Now, the other option is you're also going to see some European outlets in your room too. There's plenty of power converters that you can buy that you can plug now into the European outlet and convert that outlet into something that you can use for whatever kind of power you need. In a US situation, I use my European converter to change it into a US, so I get 3 more extra USA plugs, as well as some additional powered USB connections. It's a great little tool. I have that in the description as well before. It gives me more power. We have a lot of devices, my wife and I, that we always need to power up. So it's always nice to expand the available power that we can get in our room. Now, one of the next things you're going to notice when you get into your cabin is these cabins are made to be, freshened up and cleaned in a very efficient manner. And that means there's going to be like making things in a way so that it allows for easy cleanup. One of those things is no paints on the wall. You're basically living in a metal box. The metal box is what you're in. And the cool thing, though, about living in a metal box is your walls, you can put magnets on them to add even more storage. I like getting 100-pound magnet hooks to kind of just put all sorts of things on there, my beach bags, anything that I can feel that I want to hang up, hats, you name it. Those type of things get hanged up on the wall, and I don't have to kind of put it into a storage area, and it's easy access for me. I love doing that. Now, I always make sure I get 100-pound hooks. When you get those stronger magnet hooks, you basically are not going to have to deal with that caterpillar crawl down the wall if you put something heavy on a hook. Now, upon entering your room, and if you notice your bed is like a twin bed and you were saying, oh, I asked for a queen bed, they're going to have to move us. No, they're not going to have to move you. These beds actually can come together and make the queen bed. They basically have a piece of fabric with a zipper between the two to make your twin beds into a queen. And it kind of reduces the divot that when they do that, zipper thing. But sometimes that divot still can be felt. And if you don't like that separation, that divot kind of, little indentation in the middle, you can always ask your cabin steward to put a topper on your bed if you just feel that, indentation a little bit too much, to get rid of that divot. Now, during your exploration of your cabin, of all the storage areas, you're going to find somewhere tucked away, probably behind some sort of large kind of dresser, I guess door you would call it, you're going to find a mini bar fridge, one of those small little dorm type of refrigerators. Now, these aren't very, very powerful refrigerators. As a matter of fact, you'd be lucky if you can get it to cool things. Basically, it's not going to get things really cold. That is 100% for sure. So just understand that if you need something really, really cold, you can always ask your cabin steward for a bucket of ice. If you'd like to have something really ice cold when you drink, ask for a bucket of ice. Or if you do have some medicines that need to be stored at a certain temperature, make sure you have your travel agent, or you call the cruise line directly if you booked directly, that you have this medicine and it needs to be kept at a certain temperature. They can definitely bring you something to make sure that that medicine is kept at that temperature. So always understand that. Don't expect the mini bar fridge in your room to be able to keep your medicines at an extremely cool level. Same thing, don't expect your soda cans to be extremely cold as well. The next thing I want to talk about is for people who are lucky enough to be in a balcony room. Those balcony cabins are beautiful, but if you're traveling with a little one, you might get a little nervous about being in a balcony. Well, don't worry. Every balcony door does have a child lock. Take a look at the door. Every door is different. Try to figure out how to engage the child lock so you can protect your little ones in your cabin. Also, a lot of times when you have that balcony cabin, you just love to have that door open and listening to the ocean and all those type of things. But just remember, if you have your balcony door open, your air conditioning is going to go off in your stateroom. The other thing to remember too is if you open up your stateroom door into the hallway of the ship, well, you're going to basically create a giant wind tunnel with the cabin door open and that balcony door open, and it's just going to suck every piece of loose paper right on out of your room into the hallway. And it might, as you're trying to scramble to grab the papers that have just been sucked out into the hallway, it will slam the door shut behind you. So always remember, if you're going to have your balcony door open, Make sure all loose papers are kind of put away, because God forbid, if you have to open up your stateroom door, you're going to create that wind tunnel and you might hurt yourself with the thing slamming right on you. So just remember that. Now let's talk a little bit about the TV in your cabin. Your cabin TV is going to be very utilitarian. You're not going to have a tremendous amount of entertainment shows. You might have a couple of news channels. You might have an international sports channel. You might have one movie channel that loops the same movie over and over and over again. You're also going to have a few channels dedicated specifically to your cruise. One might tell you exactly your position in the world and the temperature outside. Another one might be telling you about what's going on in the day, the different activities that are going on. Another channel might be something from the cruise director talking about the different types of offers in the different shops on the ship. You also have one maybe for the art auction and talking about the different artists that they're kind of promoting on the ship. Those are the type of other channels you might get. Plus, you're going to be able to look at your account through your TV so you can see exactly what charges you have incurred so far on your cruise. That's basically what you're going to get from your TV. Now, if you need to watch something, more along your speeds, make sure you download it on one of your devices before you get on the cruise, or make sure you purchased the Wi-Fi that allows streaming, and then you could just stream it to one of your devices. And if you're lucky enough to be on a newer ship that you can actually broadcast that stream to the TV, that's awesome too. Now, one of the other things you're going to notice when you get into your cabin is your light switches. You might find a master switch where you need to put in your cruise card directly into that little slot to allow everything that is powered in your room to actually operate it. Some cruise ships, you actually physically have to put your cruise card in there. You can't kind of do a trick with putting in like a Costco card or something along those lines into there to kind of, edge around the system to kind of, allow you to do that without having to use your cruise card, because you need that cruise card whenever you go around, and you don't want to leave it in your room and forget it that it's in, the master power slot. So some people and some cruise lines, you can do that with a different, with a different card, but now on some other cruise lines, you're going to need to use that actual cruise card to put in there. Now, nearby there is going to be a few switches. Some of them are going to kind of control all the lights. Some of them are going to control a few of the lights. Get to know exactly how your light situation is going to go. And then also you'll notice some more light switches over by the bed. The cool thing is those light switches will kind of do the same thing as the ones over by the door. So you don't have to get out of your bed if you want to turn on one specific light near the bathroom. So you have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. You don't have to turn on all the lights. Make sure you know which one that is first, because otherwise you're going to just blind your partner in your room when you turn on all the lights from your room, but because, you didn't know which switch to flip. But anyway, you'll notice that right away. A lot of times those light switches over by the bed can control the lights in your room too, just like the ones right at the front of your cabin by the cabin door. All right, so let's start talking about the bathroom in a cruise cabin. These things are small. Unless you happen to be on a newer ship where they give you a little bit more space, they're going to be pretty small. And if they use the old type of, shower curtains and you're a big guy, that shower curtain is going to stick to you. You know what? The bathroom serves its purpose. It does what it needs to do. So it's going to give that to you. But if you want some more comfort, there's little tricks you can do. A lot of times, if the bathroom's really small, I like to take a shower over in the gym area of the ship, and they have the showers there over in the locker rooms. You're going to have much more space. You don't have to worry about, that shower curtain sticking to you. Those are good options as well. Now, also, you might wonder when you're looking to plug in your electric razor, where the heck's the plug? You can't find a plug. Well, you know what? Look up, because sometimes that plug is in the ceiling. Also, look below the sink, because you know what? Sometimes that plug is below the vanity where the sink is. You're going to have to maybe do some searching for that plug, but it's in there. Don't worry. The other thing you're going to need to know about the bathroom, a lot of cruise lines are moving away from barge soap. You're going to see a lot of body wash now. So if you really like barge soap, maybe bring your own one that you like. Also, a lot of times that shampoo and conditioner, are combined into one, conditioner shampoo situation. So if you are very particular about what kind of product you want in your hair or how you want to wash yourself with a bar soap versus body wash, if you need your own, bring your own. Use some small travel containers to kind of move your stuff into it so you don't have a lot of space, wasted in the room. You don't want these giant jugs in your bathroom that is already pretty darn small to begin with. So make sure you move them to a small travel size container. Now, your room is going to come with a decent amount of hangers, but if you do like to hang a lot of your clothes and you're going to run out of hangers, don't be afraid to ask your cabin steward for more hangers. They'll be more than happy to bring you more hangers for your cabin. Also, if you are the kind of person that just likes to have a little bit more towels when you come out of the shower, one for your body, one for your head, you know what? They're going to give you enough towels for 2 people, you know, one large bath towel, one, you know, it's just, you might need some extra towels. If you are the kind of person that wants some extra towels, again, ask your cabin steward. They will make sure that that number of towels is always in your cabin every single day to make sure your cruise vacation is perfect in your cabin. And the final thing I want to say about your cabin, there is going to be a safe somewhere in your cabin. Now, sometimes these safes are really, really small, just kind of big enough to put your wallet in there, maybe your passports, and maybe a few other items like some cash or some jewelry. Not a lot of jewelry. If you got a big old, you know, folder type of thing, it might get tight to fit in there. But that's basically what it is. It's a small safe. Now, some places you might see a larger type of, you know, safe, especially in suites, something big enough that you might even be able to put your laptop in there. But 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a small safe. Understand that, but you're going to have one, and you'll be able to set your, you know, code on there. And if you forget your code, you can always call up security and they can open it up again for you. And try to remember the code next time so you don't become a nuisance with the security team. But it happened to us before. It happens to all of us. Don't worry. So there you go, folks. Those are the things you need to know about your cabin when you get on your cruise. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hey, give it a big thumbs up. It really does help that YouTube algorithm. It does help other people find this channel. And if you're still here and you're watching and you have not become a member yet of this Cruise Seekers community, hey, think about subscribing. Turn that notification bell on. We would love to have you as one of the first 14,000 subscribers to this channel. We're hoping to get to that number before we head to Alaska. So, hey, hit that subscribe button, turn that notification bell on. Thank you so much for doing it. And if you have some other tips and tricks and things to know about your cabin, leave a comment down below. We love comments. We love engaging with you folks in the comments section. So until we talk again next time, this is Rob from Cruise Seekers reminding each and every one of you to always seek the seas. Bye now.